Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Now, multi-class racing on iRacing offers some of the most exciting racing on the service. However, of late, the standard of driving and decision making by some has become much worse. And it's something I think we need to talk about. So as I mentioned at the beginning, I think the standard of driving in multi-class and iRacing has gone down, and as a result, for me, the whole multi-class experience is not what it was. There's a few reasons for this, but I think the main reason is that for many people, there's a complete disregard of other drivers on the circuit and the whole my race is more important than your race kind of attitude. So I think every driver on the grid needs to form a pact. Now, you may think, pact? What's all that about? Well, that's the only word I could come up with this mnemonic. So there are 4 key ingredients, in my opinion, to multi-class racing that form the word pact. Now, the first one is patience. The second one is awareness. The third one is communication. And the final one is teamwork. So in this video, we're going to go through a few scenarios. We're going to look at the good. We're going to look at the bad and maybe what could be done differently, and hopefully share some of my experience with you to help you stay alive and finish the race. So this scenario, it's all about communication. We're following the LMP2 on the 21st lap of a 22 lap race, I think. So I'm the blue car up ahead, so we'll stop it when we get around this turn. So we've got the kink coming up. We can go too wide through here. A few laps earlier on, I was overtaken by an LMP2 going through the kink. This LMP2 is close enough, I think, to make a move when we get to the kink. I don't think it would have got me past before this. So we'll just forward it on a little bit to here. So he's right behind me there. What he's telling me at this point is, Dave, I'm stopping behind you. Crack on. Then we forward it on a few metres. And then he moves out to my right-hand side, which now tells me he's going to go for the move. Well, talk about mixed signals. So, as a result of this, I stay wide, brake, give him the room. He doesn't go for it. So I turn in. I've got to go around the turn. But then this guy then accelerates and knocks me off track. Thankfully, I didn't spin. However, I did get a drive-through penalty for too many incidents. I'm not bothered about that. It's what happened in the kink. This didn't have to happen. So what could we have done differently? Well, I could have taken my line as normal, I suppose, and turned in when I would normally turn in. But closing stage of the race, experience tells me that somebody's going to send it. What could this guy have done differently? Well, he could have stayed behind me and not moved over to the right-hand side, which gave me the impression that he was going to go for the move. Then I would have turned in a bit earlier on and we would have both got through the turn a little bit quicker. And then this guy, when he's realising that I'm turning in, he accelerates. That's just a bad decision. Why he did that, I don't know. But this is a guy with 5k plus I rating. I think he was second in the LMP2s. But that's just the way it is. That's how important communication is. So we're on board here with Galasso. So we have a great example of somebody being really patient here. So you can see me ahead battling with the BMW. So we'll go around this left. This LMP2 could probably get up my inside here, no problem. But it doesn't. He waits behind me. He then moves across to the right and tells me, Dave, I'm sitting behind you. I'm not going for the move. You can obviously see me and the BMW having a battle. So again, around the kink, he's patient, waits and waits and waits until it's safe, and now it goes to the move. Absolutely cracking driving, then slots in behind this BMW and does the same with this guy before the next turn. Absolutely perfect. So we've got a bad example of LMP2 meets GT3. So lap number 20 of the race. So the race is getting on. This guy is battling with this guy, so we've got two LMP2s coming up against the GT3 at a part of the track where the GT3s are way, way slower than the LMP2s. So we'll forward it on. So we've got the GT3 minding his own business. This car's way back, so he's not going to be making a move. So rightfully, the GT3 just gets on with life. Here, this LMP2 should be holding off, wait until the GT3 gets round and then passing him on the inside before the final turn. It probably would have got that move done and this guy would have got stuck behind him going round the turn. But no, what does he do? He gets on the gas and ploughs through him and knocks him off. Unbelievable. Thankfully, this yellow car was the leader in the LMP2 class. And I was pleased to see that he got punted off as well. But the BMW, you can see, his race is completely done. Absolutely shocking. So this next example we're going to talk about is touching on what I mentioned at the very beginning with the complete disregard for other drivers and my race is more important than yours type of attitude. So we've got this GT3 car and we've got an LMP2 behind. Now you'll see that there's no other LMP2s in sight. He's not racing anybody. There's no great urgency in my book to get by this GT3. So we approach this tricky section where it can get congested. So here is behind him going around this turn. There's nobody there. He's not racing anybody. I've no idea why he just doesn't sit there. But what does he do? Well, you guessed it. He goes for the move when he really doesn't need to. And yeah, the Lamborghini maybe turned in a little bit early, but the LMP2 collides with him and gives this car a little bit of damage. Well, there was no reason at all for him to go through there. It's just my race is more important than yours. My car's faster than yours. I'm coming through whether you like it or not. That's the kind of mentality and attitudes that need to be gone. We can't have that. We've all got to work together to make it work. So now we've got this guy, lap 22, behind a GTE approaching turn number 1. We'll forward it a bit. He's in his slipstream. The BMW is going to be coming up to his braking zone, around about the 3 cones there. But this guy, I'm coming through now, so BMW start to brake. This guy has just presented his car last minute into turn number 1. So what does he do? Yeah, he sends it. Collides with the BMW and the BMW gets punted off track and that's his race finished. What could he have done differently? Well, this guy, who's he racing with? Lap 22, the other guy, he's miles back. So he's not really racing anybody. There's no urgency for this guy to go through in my opinion. BMW did absolutely nothing wrong apart from he left him room. He left him room. But that's what these LMP2 drivers, that's the effect that they have on us. Or any faster class has on a slower class. You're just 1 second away from being sent into the shadow realm. Well, there's no way he should have gone for this move. We'll look back. There's his nearest rival. You know, he's a good half a second back from him there. No excuse. No excuse at all. So he's off. He's off into the sunset. Unbelievable. So what we're going to talk about now is awareness. Now, we're on board with me. This is lap 21 of the race, going on to lap 22. So very much the closing stages. And you can see I've got an LMP2 behind me, Michelle. And then I've got my closest competitor, Mark. He's 2.6 seconds back. Now, if we play this on, you'll see the landscape changes dramatically. In the distance there, we've got a few more LMP2s going to be catching us up. So Michelle gets past me into turn number 1. And if you look at the relative in the bottom right, you can see that that's going to be populated with the red names. Now, they are cars that have lapped me, so they are the LMP2s. So we'll get down to the bottom of the hill you'll see that things have changed massively. We've now got 3 LMP2s between me and Mark, who's the guy in P7 in my class. So that's what I'm thinking about. It's the closing stage of the race. We've got 3 LMP2s battling. We know what people are like towards the end of a race. Do I want a part of it? Well, no, I don't. And I want to do as much as I can to make sure that this situation is in my control, because I don't want to be punted off on lap 22. So we'll just run it on. So these guys catch me up quite quickly. So we get around this turn, and there's a short sprint until the next right turn. Now the LMP2 that's behind me could quite easily go for a send here, but it doesn't. It sits behind me, nice and patient. So at this point, we've got me, then we've got this LMP2 with Andrea, then we've got Andrew, and then we've got Tay there. So what are my options here? Well, I could stay online. These 2 guys will get by me probably before the next left turn. But then we've got this car here. He's going to be desperate to keep in touch with these. So it's very important to be aware of your surroundings, where you are on circuit, where your competitors are, but who you're racing with in the other classes and what they're trying to achieve at that particular moment in time. So I choose the safer option here. So as we get around this turn, I move over to the right hand side, let these guys through, but then I let the last LMP2 through. Now at this point, I'm in control of what is happening here. So we'll let all these through. I do lose a bit of time on Mark, but that's fine. I would rather do that than end up in the gravel on this side of the track. Then we've got this guy coming up against a GT3 up towards the kink. So here, there's no way he's going to get the move done before the kink, so it's going to have to be after. We know that. It's not going to be before, it's going to have to be after the kink. But this guy, at this point, he's on the brakes there. Hold the brakes a bit more. Let's get through the kink. I think he spooks this BMW. So then he gets on the gas and just plows into the back of him. I mean, it's the guy behind's responsibility to not hit the guy in front. We can't be blaming people for running a normal line, which it is turning in at the normal place. And you can actually hear him get on the gas there. Plows him off. His race is done. The BMW race is done. This guy's race is done. The guy there in number 4, he completely lost his mind, and rightly so. There was absolutely no need in this. So this one decision by this one guy ruined his own race. He ruined this guy's race, and he ruined this GTE's race in one fell swoop. Bang. And you'll see their race is done. So we've looked at a few examples there, and it might look like I'm just bashing on the LMP2s. I'm not. It could be the LMP1s, it could be the LMP2s, it could be the GTEs when you're running against the GT3s on the shorter circuits. It's just the faster car running over the slower car. And that's why the 4 ingredients that I mentioned at the beginning are so important. Patience. Please show a bit of patience. I would much rather be remembered for the guy that sat behind me, gave me time, then made the move safely, than the guy that didn't show patience and ran me over mid-corner. We've looked at awareness on board with me, how quickly the landscape changes from me racing against the guy 2.7 seconds back, 2 or 3 seconds down the road, and I've got now 3 LMP2s behind. You've got to be aware of where you are in your race, where everybody else is in their race, and where they are and who they're racing with will dictate how desperate they are to get by you. So you've got to make sure that whenever they overtake you, it's got to be on your terms, or you're in some control of when that happens. Then we've looked at communication. There's lots and lots of ways to communicate on iRacing. Not everybody has their voice chat on, but you could use the voice chat. You could say, please wait till after the kink, or pass right, or if you're the LMP2 saying, I'm going to take you into turn 1, you could use the commands, the text commands, map a button to your wheel, pass left, pass right, type one up, please be patient, I'll let you by when I can. Or the LMP2 or the faster class could say, I'll wait until after the next turn. A flash of your lights, that's a good indicator if somebody's going to send it or not. If they flash their lights when they're behind you, you've got to be expecting a send from whatever car is behind you. So a flash of the lights is a good indicator. Also, car position. We looked at the incident at the beginning when the LMP2 was behind me and then he moved out. If somebody's sitting behind you online, that's a good indicator that that's the line that they're going to take through the turn. As soon as somebody moves offline, you've got to think, right, they're going to send it here. I've got to be expecting a potential punt. So car position, very, very important. Also, if you're approaching a turn and you've got a faster car behind you that's going to, you think, they might send it here, just move your car towards the middle of the circuit, off the racing line. That tells them, hang on a minute, you're going to have to wait until after this turn because I'm not going to make it easy for you. That then just makes them think for an extra second and they'll, right, okay, this move's not going to be easy. I'll just wait till after this turn, then make the move afterwards. And the last thing we're going to talk about is teamwork. It is a team sport, multi-class, believe it or not. We've all got to work together to get the best result. Yes, we're all in our separate races, but it's really, really important to work together. I don't want to hold up the faster guys, and if I'm in the faster class, I don't want to be held up, but nor do I want to send it somewhere where I shouldn't. So teamwork is very important. Everybody's got to work together to get the best results. So there we go, that's the end of the video. This might have just been a video for me to get things off my chest, and I might feel a little bit better later on as a result. But you're always going to get people who send it, you're always going to get people who think of themselves and nobody else during the race. But you can do small things during the race to make sure that you die less frequently and finish more races. Being more aware, keeping an eye on your relative, understanding or thinking about what those other drivers are thinking in that point of the race. If you're racing against other guys, end of the race, they're battling for position, you're not battling for anything else. Remove yourself from that little problem, let them crack on, and you can carry on and enjoy the rest of your day. Anyway, let me know what you think of this video. If you did like it, if you haven't already, please click on that like button. And if you want to see more, you can click on this icon here. Straight over here is my latest video and a video that YouTube thinks that you might like. As always, thanks for watching. See you later. Cheers.